few Brazilians sense apathetic to Jair Bolsonaro, the distant right applicant who has done it in the work-off of the president poll. Always with he announced he was fleeing for CEO, down there include been election meetings for and versus the contentious ex-troop skipper. These divisions see set to intensify now how he will person his workers' side competing, Fernando Haddad, in the other circle on October 28. Jair Bolsonaro likes to trial debate. The 63-year-old has done provocation statements on issues range of miscarriage, racing, migrating and homosexual to gun laws. He has depicted oneself as the protector of a Brazil of many decades history, offering how the nation should back to the uncompromising act and order tactic of the 1964-1985 war dictator. Several print include begun inviting him the trump card of the tropical zone, comparing his narodnik styling and public print present to how of the U.S. lead. His president competing Ciro Gomes though went as far as dub Mr. Bolsonaro a slight tropic imitator Nazi. Mr. Bolsonaro had already been making so in view polls while he was stabbed by a lonely offensive on 6 September, but the intensive print focus that accompanied was new though for him. Although he was restricted to a clinic bed next the assault, prevent him of back to the campaigning path, he stored growing in the polls. For his 7 regulation in convention, Mr. Bolsonaro's priorities and interests include developed. At first, he concentrated mostly on the interests of the war, his major election basis at the period. In more than latter year, he has widened his proposals to lead the more extensive issues of social security and law and procedure, that done him famous in lot voters in criminality-racked Brazil. By 2014, he was the congressional applicant to win the highest quantity of votes in Rio de Janeiro. His period in convention has as well been noted by provocation, title-grabbing statements. Policy accuracy is an item of left radicals. I am one of the largest attack persons, he told in an interviewing in Everyday Carrillo Brazilians in June. I'd choose to view a son of Pitt to die in an crash rather than to be a gay, he said Playboy magazine in a 2011 interviewing. How identical year he once again caused indignation by noting how a comrade legislator was not cost abusing since he mined she was really hideous and not his kind. With he start up his campaigning for the chairmanship, he has brought new supporters. Lot in the industry segment love his powerful supporting of complementary market economy, and markets include lost up in tandem in his view polls. Several youthful human beings include been brought to his simple talk and his public print present. Several evangelicals, who expense for 1 in each 4 persons voters, love his prudent worldview on issues such as gay wedding. A powerful sense of aversion to the workers' side and the corrupt practices scandals that include spoiled it has as well weak his major competing, Fernando Haddad. But in just 2 candidates leftward in the racing, the searchlight glowing on Mr. Bolsonaro will be though brighter. His critics expect how more than study will show how down there is not lot of material in his poll manifest, but his supporters for now appear lucky in the headlines he has been manufacturing, contentious or no.